Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight at Allison Knows, the podcast. This is, I forget which episode this is, because we do audio podcasting with Jack and Jill, which is our AI team. So I'm going solo tonight without Stacy, but it's not going to be a long show, really. It's just going to be just kind of a conversational piece, real quick. Um, Tomorrow we'll hit up the news, um, current events, human interests, that sort of thing. I want to do a quick shout out to iHip, Jen and Angie Pumps. Like them a lot. Um, Also want to do a spiritual light giving hellos to my fellow intuitives, the likes of Shelley, Susan, Mystic, Madam, and Linda G. I like Linda G. Of course, there's Libby and Lena in Australia, and Hogarth in the UK. I like him as well. He happens to be, like me, a little bit of a Jamaican descent, which is kind of cool. So, in addition to that, I wanted to basically get into a quick commentary here. For example, let's talk about it's kind of a dive into the ability to talk about storytelling. Um, it's a medium that's actually become really integral in our daily lives as kind of like that cup of coffee in the morning. But here's the thing: it's not just talking into a microphone. No, it's more than that. Um, I have to read this part because I'm not as comfortable yet before the camera. But let's start with a little story. Picture this: crisp November morning in 2024. Budding podcaster sits in front of their computer, staring at a blank document. The cursor is blinking, and it's of course blinking mockingly. And they've got this great idea. But how do they turn it into something people would actually want to listen to? Now, if you're anything like me, you might be thinking, Allison, where are you going with this? Well, stick with me. Give me a minute. Because this is where it gets interesting. Writing for a podcast is a whole different ball game. It's like it's not like writing an article, for example. It's writing for the ear. Well, in this case, it's writing for both the ear and for video. But you're crafting words that will float through the air into someone's brain. And if they are driving to work or they're doing the dishes or they're pretending to listen to their spouse talk, well, of course, about their day, you seep in to that little spot, that little place, hopefully, and you share and have conversations. Well, you can't really rely on fancy graphics or eye-catching headlines. All you have is your voice and your words. So those words better be good. They better attract some attention. They better pull you in. They need to be clear, conversational, and engaging. You want your listeners to feel like they're sitting across from you at a table, sharing a cup of coffee and a good story of some sort. Now let's talk about structure. You can't just ramble on for an hour and call it a day. No, you need a narrative, an arc, a journey that takes your listeners from point A to point B with a few interesting detours along the way and maybe transitions. You want to make them kind of like your best friend. They're the bridges that carry your listeners from one idea to the next without them even realizing it. The real secret sauce, though, is authenticity. Well, I'm authentically reading from a sheet of paper that I had to write stuff like this down because it's I have to get it out that way first. That's how it works for me. So that's where we are. And right now, in this world, we're bombarded with polished, prepackaged content. And I think people want something real. I do. I think they want something real. They want to hear your unique voice, your perspective, your passion. So don't be afraid to let your personality shine through. It's kind of like a mantra of a chatty thing that I'm saying to myself and a conversation I'm having with myself. So now I know what you're thinking. You're like saying, Allison, that sounds great, but how do I actually do it? Well, my friends, that's where practice comes in, right? And a great podcast script is like any other skill. It takes time, it takes effort, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. So if you want to start your podcast and you want to, get creative with the art of storytelling, you need to show the discomfort of being in your own skin or the comfort of being in your own skin. You need to talk about how things affect you and how you got to that point. And you're going to have to record and listen to yourself. Yeah. And if you don't like it, you can delete it or you can keep it and then, and then do it again. Because with each attempt, you get a little bit better and a little bit closer to finding what your voice is and telling the story the way that you can. And I think you should remember that in the world of podcasting, your voice is your superpower. So you need to use it wisely and use it often. And most importantly, use it to tell stories that matter. Because at the end of the day, that I think is what it's really all about. I listen to other podcasts, listen to Don Lemon's show. I listen to Autumn, who has the Black and Orange channel, and she is a tarot reader. It's interesting that you can go to one spot on YouTube and find whatever you're interested in, and that's kind of cool and that's kind of fun. And it's really great to connect with people, sharing ideas, and just maybe changing the world. At least I hope to change the world one episode at a time. So I didn't want to go long, and I didn't go long. I think I went less than 10 minutes. And one thing I need to tell you is I'm not going to edit things, and I'm sure it's going to be very annoying to some people because some way you're going to hear the ums and the uhs and the pauses. But what you should be aware of what's coming up and what we're doing is things like the how to deprogram from being in MAGA, for example. Things like how to write a book in an hour. I have written a few. I've written a few books. Haven't published them yet. And that's what I'm working on. That kind of grunt work I don't particularly like, but it's going against my comfort level, going against what I otherwise would do. So I'm working towards that. I'm getting closer to that, and the intent is to. I think I have 10 ebooks, and they're just ebooks. They're not the kind of books that you can get on Amazon and go ahead and get them in hard copy or not. No, they're ebooks. They're digital reads. You get to read them on Google Books, and one of the one that I'm putting out, making available really soon, and I will put the link in this in a little bit. Hopefully I finish it and get it to put in this link when I upload this. But it is called The Evolution of a Lie. And it teaches history. It helps people to understand where everything started with the political environment that we're in right now. And then you'll get to see, understand, and grasp just how serious, how important, and how, I guess, right now it's gonna truly either help people or hinder them. because you have to want to know something in order to seek it out. So that's what I think. So look forward to how to deprogram from MAGA. That's another episode I'm going to go ahead and do. And if you can, please like, subscribe, share, and you can leave a comment. I'm going to make sure I turn that on the YouTube portion of it, and see if we can start getting some conversation happening. I do know that on YouTube I think I have exclusively 500 people. Let's see what happens in the next week or so. I would love to be at 1,000 so that my viewing hours can go up, and so that I can truly build this channel into what I believe it has the potential of being and helping. I thank you. Have a good evening. And this is Allison signing off from Allison Knows. You guys take care. You be well. Be nice to each other. And we'll see you.